everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Mira D, and today I'm going to teach you how to play this song that I just played. It's called Shortening Bread, and we're also going to learn about first position and second position when it comes to finger placements on our fretboard. So what is a finger position? A finger position is where we place our fingers on the fretboard so that we can play the notes efficiently and effectively. For example, you may have seen people shredding on a guitar, or you may have seen people on a banjo that are just like, fiddling around and they're just like moving and moving and moving. This is because they have built a relationship with finger position, among many other things. They built a relationship with finger position on the fretboard. And so when it comes to our finger positions, it is about where we place those. Now, when it comes to finger positions, if you look closely, what we're doing is we're basically building a relationship with our body and the instrument. We're building a relationship with where our fingers sit so that we can play effectively. So in first position, this is what we call first position. It's exactly what it sounds like. Our first finger goes in the first fret. Our second finger goes in the second fret. Our third finger goes in the third fret, and our fourth finger goes in the fourth fret. And with this, our fingers that are in those frets are responsible for the notes on all of the strings in those frets. So what I mean by that is that if you sit down and you put your finger in first position, you're going to be able to play on every single string, and so as you can see, my first finger is staying up here where it's supposed to be at. Second finger, third finger, and then fourth. Okay, and so this is going to help us to build a relationship with, with the fretboard. And as we do that, we're going to start to be able to do things like not have to look at the fretboard while we're playing. Now, everybody does sometimes. Every banjo player does. Every instrument player does. However, when we start to build that relationship, we're actually going to become more effective eventually at not having to really just sit there and stare down where our fingers are going. Intuitively, what I've seen, and especially when I started my banjo journey, one of the things that I saw is that I wanted to use my one finger for everything because it was easier, right? I wanted to be like... So once you start to get into like a little bit more of the advanced banjo playing, or you pick up songs that are a little bit faster, you're going to have trouble just using that one finger to move around everywhere, and so this is all about building efficiency. Like, how do we make this the most smooth, most beautiful journey where we're not thinking too much about stuff or stressed out? We want to feel our music. We want to enjoy our music. We want to be at peace with our music. We want this to be something that flows and that feels good to us. And we have to have, again, healthy foundations in order to do that. So, using one finger is one thing, but then using is a whole different game. It changes everything up. So what are all these other positions? How many positions are there? There are many positions, but today we're only going to work on first and second position because that's really all we need to get started, especially with the song that we're learning today. It's also the easiest to be related to because you have this little nut at the top that lets you know where the first fret is versus having to go all the way down here and actually count the frets. You eventually understand intuitively and what all the frets are and where they are, but for now we're going to dial it back a little bit, keep it in the beginner zone, and we're going to stay with just working with our first and second position. Okay, and so we're working with the first and second position. If we're in first position here, where our first finger is in this space, our second finger is here, third finger is here, fourth finger is here. If we're going into second position, all we're doing is shifting our fingers down. That means now our first finger is responsible for everything in the second fret. Our second finger is responsible for everything in the third fret. Our third finger is responsible for everything in the fourth fret. And our fourth finger is responsible, our pinky, is responsible for everything in the fifth fret. Now, these positions are interchangeable. You're not locked here. You will rarely find songs that are, as you move along, that are only in first position or second position. Really, this is so that you know where your fingers are at all time, at all times. And it's always, until you get up to the smaller parts of the banjo, it's generally the same spacing. So you can feel, if you learn to do this here, you're also going to be able to effectively do this same thing here, because your fingers, you've built a muscle memory with the spacing and with all that good stuff, and so that helps us to become a better player. So today we're going to learn a song called Shortening Bread. This is actually one of the very first songs that I ever learned, and it's going to help you to get comfortable moving around in the first and second position here on the fretboard. We will add the bum diddy pattern later, but today we're actually just working on getting that left hand comfortable with its own movements and moving around up here. And so if you remember, second position is where we put our, that's right, where we put our first finger on the second fret, whereas first position is where we would start here. We are only using the second position because that is where all of our notes will be played. All of our notes that we'll be playing for this song will be between the second fret and the fifth fret, which is perfect for second position because we have all of our fingers in place and we're not wasting any energy moving around trying to unnecessarily. So if we're going to start shortening bread, the way the song sounds is... And so once we add the chords to that, it's going to sound really nice and it'll sound really fancy. But for now, we're just going to start with what do we do and how do we play this? So we're going to start again in second position here. And we're going to start with the pinky down here on the fifth fret on the first string. And that sounds like... So just play that. Nice. Okay, so we're going to go from that. We're going to take the first finger on the second fret on the first string. And then we're going to strum that string open. And then we're going to put that first finger right back down on the second fret. So it sounds like... And then what we're going to do next is exactly the same thing. Except we don't put our finger down the second time at the end. So it goes... Okay? And so then from there, we're just going to repeat that twice. So we're going to go fifth, second, open, second, fifth, second, open, fifth, second, open, second. And this is where we change it up a bit. We're actually going to go over here to this G string. We're going to go to the third string here. And we're going to use, of course, our third finger here on this fourth fret. And we're going to go. Then our first finger here on the second fret on that same string. And then open. So that will sound like... Now, if we put that all together, we have... Okay, I'll slow it down for you. So that's... All right. We'll get the second half of that song next week. But the thing that I want you to remember is that it's okay to go slow. Like, we're not in a rush to get anywhere. we're actually taking our time is going to help us to build muscle memory. It's going to help us to get, down to the point where we don't have to really think about it, and we're not trying to correct ourselves by moving too quickly. So don't be afraid to go slow, ever. Always make sure that, you're going at a speed that feels comfortable to you. Remember, there's nowhere to get because this is an infinite instrument, and there will always, always, always be more to learn. So if you can just be comfortable with where you are now and accept yourself as a beginner, accept that this is something new and something that you're learning, and bring yourself back into a space of the excitement of what it feels like to learn something new each time, you're going to start to eventually get to that place where you're able to do these things, but it has to come with the acceptance of where you are right now. So take as long as you need to be able to, do these lessons and to incorporate these into your life, because that's what's really going to build a strong foundation. If we've got a house and we're just trying to throw bricks down and we're not really paying attention to what we're doing, and, we're missing mortar here and there because we're just trying to get the house built, we're going to come up with a structure that is really faulty. And then we're also it's going to be harder to go back and correct those things later rather than to lay down those foundations nicely now, and with intention, and to spend as much time as is needed to make sure that things are intact. This is not the same as perfection. There is no need to be perfect at it, but there is definitely a need to start to build a relationship of comfort with it so that we can move on to the next step. And of course, there will be things that you learn and adjust and grow with as the time goes along. So that is what I have for you today as far as our lesson with first position. And if you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe. I'll be coming out with a new video every single week. So subscribe, like, share, comment. Let me know what you think about the video. Feedback is always, always awesome. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. Until then, peace.